they stood firm, they stood tall. Their mothers, really just was so vociferous and focused on their children. And their story is our story. When their mom went to the precincts and their family members went to the precinct, I can only think about when I was in the department, mommy going through 103rd precinct trying to get Eric Adams out of that precinct after being attacked and brutalized by police officers. This is our story. The Exonerated Five is the American black boy man story. That's what it is. And so when this gate is placed here, it is sending a strong message. And I think all of our young men and boys, the Board of Education, Chancellor Banks, we should be having school trips to talk about this story, because as time moves forward, we believe that there were not real struggles to get us where we are right now, and we lose the historical moments that took place. That's why this is so significant, of making sure right here in Central Park that this gate is here. And so the Senator, thank you, former Assemblyman Wright, and all of you who have come together to make sure this moment happens. And to these soldiers here, you personify the black male experience, and I know you've been going over the country, and you need to continue to highlight and lift up the words that's important. People should not get mixed up. Justice and safety are not divided.
Come on.
Being safe and make sure we do it the right way. It's not about just grabbing up black men and putting them in jail. It's about making sure that we use the justice system to get safety and justice. And I thank you. No matter what I was doing today, I wanted to be here, and we're going to make sure we give you a key, not only to lock of this gate, but a key to the city, because you represent what we are. Thank you, brother.
In 1989, we had the Central Park Five, which is now known as the, say it with me, the Exonerated Five. These gates are being christened today, and they will symbolize that an injustice took place. A travesty of injustice took place upon these 5 black and brown boys from our community. So it is very appropriate that this man come up and give us this prayer, because he was out in the forefront and still in the forefront. And if he were there in 1931, he would have been out there with the Scottsboro boy. If he were there in 1955, he would have been out there with Emmett Till. I give to you our demonstrator, our disruptor, the Reverend Al Sharpton.
No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! No justice! All right. Let me say this. 33 years ago, we didn't have these many people at the courthouse. We have more people this morning than any morning these 5 young men and their families, their mothers, had to walk in that courtroom alone and face a vicious lie that cost them years in jail. Let us not act like this is something that is not also continuing to happen today, because the Exonerated Five is symbolic of many that need to still be exonerated. In this same park not long ago, a brother that was out here dealing with birds was accused of a crime in the same park. So we're not finished with the struggle, but we are showing today that we have won some battles in the struggle, but it cost them years of their life. But this gate will show that we can make a mark to show that we are a community that don't abandon freedom and don't abandon justice, And don't abandon our young men. Let a gate be erected. There's a gate toward justice. It's interesting that we are on this side of Central Park, because the gates on the other side is for the corporate world and for the wealthy. But there's a gate on this side of freedom fighters, of liberation seekers, of those that want to stand up for those that's been treated unjust. In the irony of this, Imam, is God in his own way, on the same day the Congress is going to recommend criminal charges against Donald Trump, is the same day. It's the same day that the Exonerated Five get their gate. Let's not forget 33 years ago, Donald Trump took out ads in newspapers calling for their execution. And on the day that they get a gate in Harlem, they're executing referrals to have criminal charges entertained on Donald Trump. There is a God in Harlem. In fact, Reverend Daughtry and I may take out an ad for Trump.
So if there's one person's face that I wish to see, I don't want to see him here, but I would love to see Donald Trump's face after the unveiling of these gates. Someone please send me that picture. And I think it's a good idea. We may want to contribute as a community to take out an ad in the paper, in the New York Times, maybe, about Donald Trump. So, here to lift us up, here to help us lift every voice and sing. This event would not be appropriate unless we had Sonya Simmons to come and sing, lift every voice and sing.
God bless you. Lift every voice and sing right now, till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling seas. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us. Facing the rising sun of our new day begun. Let us march on till victory. Till victory is won.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Senator, the floor is yours.
Thank you. In April 1989, a woman was brutally attacked and beaten within inches of her life and left for dead in Central Park. Many teenagers, black and brown boys from Harlem, were rounded up and arrested. Y'all need to know that. The number was greater than 5. It was dozens. And their false confessions without their parents were coerced by officers during hours of interrogation, without anyone present, without anything to eat, without sleep, under great pressure. In 1990, based upon these confessions, and mind you, there was no physical evidence, whatsoever, none. 5 of these men were convicted of heinous crimes, assault and rape. In 2002, after serving 7 to 11 years in prison, the real rapist came forward and confessed to the crime. God bless him for that. After a review by then Manhattan DA Robert Morgenthal's office, the convictions were overturned. Under pressure, I was there, I remember, it was done, but it was pressure. And we were that pressure. These now men, because they were children, y'all. Please remember that they were children. These were children. A whole city, nation was against children, 5 little boys at the time. These now men, having overcome layers of systems that had wronged them in law enforcement and the media, included, have become authors, entrepreneurs, inspirational speakers, activists, and most importantly, regular, everyday citizens. I didn't say actor.
Getting there.
Okay, we can add a whole list. They're fathers and brothers and scholars. Anybody else?
GQ models.
I said that. I said fathers. Nephews, auntie.
That's right.
I love y'all. Role models.
Real models.
There you go.
This game tells a Harlem story, but it also echoes the story of so many Black, brown, and economically disadvantaged people throughout history and throughout the world.
Hello.
So it is only fitting that the most iconic park in the world tell this critical story to the world.
Always.
Thank you.
Woo! Always.
Our own Sharonne Salaam.
I didn't know what was going on because they tried to keep everything from us. They tried to keep us in silence so that they could do their deed for the evening. But you could tell something was going on. I knew that because my son was there. If nothing was going on, he'd be at home in the bed.
There you go. There you go.
We have to stay focused on what it is we have to do. This started in 1989. In 2002, those young people were acquitted. The majority of the people who had been in jail had already served their full term. 10 years they were given. Except for Korey Wise, he was given 15. 10 years they had served. In jail, out of jail, as Megan sexual predators on the top of Megan's list. Many of you, yes, many of you don't know these people today. Because some of us are not around, they're not here to hear that there's a gate being named. It's the gate of the exonerated, a gate that speaks to all people. Just like I started back then, trying to work out a strategy to get my son out of jail, to get my son out of prison, to save his name, to save his dignity, to make him be all he had to be, because I didn't want him to come out of jail crippled. I wanted him to be as whole as he could be. And we all stood together, all of us mothers. Some of them are not here today. Some of them have all passed away in their grave. And you have to yell loud. We are free. They've been exonerated. And hope somewhere the angels here, we are exonerated. Your child is free. when we think of this movement, we have to think how we can help others. That's what we've always been about. Many of these children are going to come out.
Yeah.
They're going to be cripples when they come out, and they're going to need a helping hand. Who's going to offer them that help they need? Is it going to be you?
Yes.
You.
Yes.
You. Who?
That's right.
All of them.
Be the one offering that hand. Because only through that hand are we going to make it. Only through that hand. That's why we started.
And so we got to be fair with each other. We got to represent justice to each other. So I thank you for standing with these brothers. I remember a young Yusef Salaam before the Central Park incident. He used to come to me as I was on 125th Street selling the Final Call newspaper. He would ask me questions about Islam. And so when I saw the brother on the news, I said, there's no way he could be guilty. A man so innocent, a man so pure of heart, a man so kind. I knew that they were lying. And so we want you to know that thousands, tens of thousands, millions of people prayed for you. Even though they weren't at the courthouse, there were people who prayed for you. There are millions of people who now know your story thanks to Netflix. So continue telling your story, because your story is the answer for all those who were denied justice. Last point on justice. Injustice breeds a sense of lack of confidence for the system. Injustice breeds a lack of trust for the system. Injustice breeds frustration and sometimes retaliation against the system, because freedom, justice, and equality is what we all must have. Thank you for listening. Assalamu alaikum.
The duality of being black in America is, while we celebrate, I also remember and know that the person who took out that full-page ad at that time became president of the United States of America and is running again. And he clearly steeps in white supremacy, is a fascist, said the Constitution needs to be ended, and there's still a sheeple party following him. That is also true today. The duality of being black, I know that there were half the people in Oregon voted to keep slavery as a form of punishment. That actually happened. And so that is the duality of being black in America that we have to remember. But also, I know we also have to take time to celebrate. And it is awesome that these 5 young men who were exonerated are getting a gate representing the horror that they had to go through and the horror that so many others are still going through. And that's a hand clap moment in history of this country. But the last thing I want to say is, when you think about that gate, don't just think about it. Walk through it with us to justice. Walk through it with us to equity. Walk through it to make sure people understand holding law enforcement accountable is not anti-police. Walk through it. If you hold the purse strings, make sure the budget reflects the harms that have been done to these communities. Walk through that gate with us, please. Peace and blessing, love and light to you all. Thank you so much.
The most emotional moment of being district attorney for me, because I've read their court papers recently. Because earlier this year, there was a 6th man, y'all know, on the indictment, also charged with rape, Mr. Lopez. And I had the privilege of going into court earlier this year and moving to vacate his conviction. So it was very recently that I read your court documents. And I teared up. The truth is, we shouldn't be here today. We were here today because of mistakes made by my office, and injustices. So I'm just fortunate to be with you, humbled to be with you, and thankful. So thank you.
Central Park Five, that's what they were called. Now they are the Exonerated Five. They were called wild animals, looking for prey in this asphalt jungle. 5 boys of color hanging out in Central Park, accused of raping a white woman
found guilty before the trial, given time before the truth came out. 5 boys of color locked up in a cage for many years for committing a crime they did not commit. A rush to judgment by those who believe black boys are born guilty. Black boys are wild beasts who must be shot down like mad dogs, locked up in a cage. This has happened before. The Scottsboro boys were the Central Park Five, spent many years in prison before the truth set them free. Kevin Richardson, 14. Antron McCray, 15. Raymond Santana, 14. Korey Wise, 16. Yusef Salaam, 15. 5 black teenagers called wild beasts, branded as vicious criminals. From this blame and shame, the truth came out. They were innocent, but found guilty. Spent years behind bars, became adults in prison. Now given their freedom, let it be known, this was wrong, but it can happen again. Happened many times before. Young years taken away cannot recapture time. Money can't replace years lost. We must protect the innocent, save our children, undress the lies, let the truth prevail, allow the flowers in the garden to blossom, let the sun shine on their possibilities, encourage the boy to be a man without condemnation, without bias. Let the God in each of us guide us to a better place where the color of our skin won't be a guilty verdict. Thank you.
Without any further ado, I bring to you Kevin Richardson, Raymond Santana. Korey Wise could not be here with us today. Antron McCray could not be with us today. Yusef Salaam. The reason why we are all here, please come up. Please come up. Let's stand up. Let's stand up. Stand up.
Won't he do it? We here, Harlem. We here. 1989. We were 14 and 15 years old. We were babies. They had no dealing with the law. Never knew what Miranda was. But we here now. And so this is a story of over 300 articles are written about us within the first 2 weeks of this case, dissecting the lives of 14 and 15-year-old kids. The labels: urban terrorists, Wolfpack, Wilding. Those are the labels we were given. Ken Burns said that we was considered the 5 most hated human beings on the planet Earth. That's 14 and 15-year-old kids. We received death threats, like we stated earlier. Family members thought we were guilty.
people. And yeah, my baby's there, so you gotta respect. Yeah. My sister right there. My sister and my daughter and my niece.
Yeah.
My daughter's 18 years old, first year in college. And if the system had its way, she wouldn't be here right now. So that's why it was she had to be here today. Another thing was after exoneration, she was born, and I never came to the park. And many years, because we lived on 11th Street, and many years she would always beg to go to the park, and I never brought her this direction. I always took her to the east side because the playgrounds here were so beautiful that I knew she was going to ask. So today is the first day that I really enter into the park, and I bring my daughter in. Yeah. My dad is here.
All right.
You know, been there since the beginning. Ride or die, still there. Right? And so, I mean, this is the case where the 5 to 10 year sentence that we were given, and Korey was given 5 to 15, wasn't a prison term, it was a death sentence. And then we survived prison, we weren't supposed to survive socially. It was a social death. But God had other plans. And while we sat in that fire, we grew and we became fighters. And so now when exoneration comes around and we come back out, we're grown, we're men. The 5 of us told our families, y'all can sit down, we're gonna handle it now. And then there became the voices of the Central Park 5. And so, for me, this is a joyous occasion because Harlem is here. You guys are here. Roger always used to tell us, the fight is in the streets. It's with the people. You can't. This is where it's gonna be weighed and judged, and it shows today. 30 years old. 33. See, I'm trying to tell you, I'm about 40. From 14 to now, it's crazy. But so, I don't want to dwell too much on the bad because this is a joyous occasion. This is a gate, right? This is going to be a base. This is going to be a pillar in the community where people can come and they can discuss the story. Exonerees are exonerated and dropped off, and there's nobody to defend for them. They got to fend for themselves, right? It's a brotherhood that nobody wants to be a part of. We weren't called to part of. Jeffrey Deskovic is in the crowd. He's an exoneree. And an attorney. So this is a joyous occasion, and I just want to live in the moment with you guys. Because today, we're going to celebrate. Tonight, we're going to party. No, we're going to party. But tomorrow, we right back to fighting injustice. We're here. Love you guys.
That's Kevin's sister. That's Kevin's sisters right there. Listen. This is a moment. This is legacy time. Oh Allah, I enter this sacred space at this sacred time to do your will. Clarify my thoughts so that they speak and call to you. Loosen my tongue so that it speaks of you. Bless me so that I can share with the world what you have gifted with me. But there is no deity beside you. Have mercy upon me, guide me, and protect me. Allahumma ameen. I'm here with my family. I'm here with my friends. I'm here with my wife. And we are here because we persevered. We are here because what was written for us was hidden from the enemies who looked at the color of our skin and not the content of our character. 33 years ago, they looked at us and deemed us to be the scum of the earth, wrote us hate mail, told us that we wasn't worthy. I want to take my hat off for this one. I want to say this clear. I want to make this clear. They didn't know who they had. My mother told me that they needed us to participate in whatever it was that they were trying to do. She reminded me not to participate, but to refuse. You see, we were born on purpose and with a purpose. But they told us that we were born purposeless. I'm here with my daughters. My wife and I, we share 10 children together. That glasses adjustment was,
Well,
listen, I'm gonna just say it like this. Y'all said make it plain. The good book said be fruitful and multiply. Y'all know I've been in prison. I'm just playing my part. But we got 7 daughters that we share. Some of our daughters are in the audience. We got 3 sons that we share. And it is an honor to live in the legacy of now. Because see, we weren't freed from this mishap. And I'm calling, I'm being nice. We weren't free from this mishap because of some mistake that the courts had made. There was no mistake. The system is alive and sick, and we are to ensure that the future is alive and well by allowing the DNA that freed us to be packaged through us as we pass the baton that is the deoxyribonucleic acid of us back to our children and our children's children so that they know how to break generational curses, so that they know that they were born on purpose and with a purpose. Because when this first happened to me, I remember one of my elders at the time, a mother figure as well, Aisha Grice. She was so distraught because of this. She said, what are we going to do? I said, we're going to be still and listen. They didn't know who they had.
That's right.
They called me a number, 95A1113. Yes, indeed. But to my mother, I was Yusef, Idris, Fa'adil, Abdus Salam. You know, sometimes when people hear Arabic or things that sound a little different, it's like, whoa, what's that? I found out the meaning in prison. My parents named me after 2 prophets. The first one was Yusef alayhi salam. Most of y'all know him by Joseph, the young man that went to prison for a crime he didn't commit. That crime was that he was called a rapist and spent 7 years in prison for a crime that he didn't commit. This is legacy time, y'all. And the sun is shining. And then the next was Idris. Peace be upon both of them. Idris was raised to a high station. That young man, people know him in the Bible as Enoch. Fa'adl, with adl. Adl is an Arabic word for justice. But you know who is the owner of justice? The Creator himself. And everybody knows Salaam is peace. But see, I purposefully didn't tell you the meaning of the first two names. My parents named me after 7 days of observing me as part of the tradition that we come from. My parents named me what means God will increase the teacher with justice and peace. This is a powerful moment today. This is a legacy building moment. I'm honored that you are standing here with us today. And there will come a time when I will ask you to stand with us again very soon. So I thank you for this moment. I thank you for being here. I'm honored to have survived. I'm thankful for my mama. Let me say this too. I tap down a lot when my mom is in the room. Because some of y'all heard me speak. I get it from my mom. And I don't know if y'all understand that. My mother, and this is the last thing I want to say. My mother, my shiro, she was teaching me about folks like Denmark Vesey, Toussaint Louverture. She was teaching me about folks like the woman, Joanne Chesimard. Hands off, Joanne Chesimard. Some of y'all might be like, Joanne who? Better known as Assata Shakur. I'm not going to say the whole rhyme, but I want to say this part. I stood up in court in 1990. I was 16 at the time.
I remember.
And I looked at the DA after I started my piece. And I said, the DA is dead wrong. This is her master plan? This case is not a case, it's just a crafted sham. Yo, instead of trying to get your name made, it's reconstructing the crime that really pays. Peace and blessings, family. Thank you.
What's up, everybody? It's time to bring it home for my fellas, for my brothers. First of all, I want to shout out Korey Wise, Antron McCray. They're not here physically, but they're here in spirit. Those are my brothers for life. I want to shout out to my mother. Y'all know who she is. Ironically, her name is Grace. Because she was my angel in all this time that we was going through this. I want to shout out my sisters that's here. Angie, Connie, Chrissy. My sister Val that's not here, but she's watching. My wife Johansson. My nephew Rob. My brother-in-law, Craig Nice. Sheeta's in the building in the back. Everybody's here. I'm from 1309 Fifth Avenue, right there. I'm from here. This is Schaumburg. This was home. So there was nothing wrong with coming to the park right here. You know, they tried to make it unsacred. But like my brother Raymond said, I'm not going to talk more about the past, but it needs to be known what we went through.
Yes, sir.
We went through hell and back. And we here, everybody. We here in physical form. We have these scars that nobody see.
Yes, we're warriors, and I'm proud to say that. I'm taking this all in right now. And it's, to get emotional about it, but it should be emotional. But this is an important time right here. Gate of the Exonerated. Yes. This for everybody. Of course, Exonerated Five is highlighted, that's cool. But it's about everybody that has been done unjust. Everybody that's been wronged by cops, by people in the street, women, everybody. So when I speak, I'm speaking for my ancestors. I'm passing the torch to my children, Jasleen and Jayla. Wow. Man. I'm thinking about doing 1989, when there was a thing called Yellow Pages. Yeah. Where they used to find my mother's number and call and say, your son deserves to be castrated, and hang up the phone. There was an ad taken out that the 5 of us should be in Central Park, 4 of us should be horsewhipped, while the elder, Korey, should be hung from a tree. That's slave talk right there. So too many things hasn't changed, but we about to change that dynamic. We starting here. By any means, this is not over, everybody. This is just a spark. Just a lighting up the torch. We have a lot of work to do, but guess what? We ready to take that fight. We're all in our late 40s. We were 14, 15, 16 respectively. We've been fighting for our whole lives. That's all we know. Unfortunately, we have to fight because of the way we look. But you know what? It's beautiful to be black. It's beautiful to be a person of color. They love this melanin. They wish they could have it. So I'm so hyped, everybody. Once upon a time, I used to be the shy Kev. Y'all know, that was afraid to speak. Actually, my brothers Yusef and Raymond's the ones that told me, Kev, oh, it's different, bro. Come out and show your face. Come out and speak. Oh, and what they say you? They don't know what they started. Because they woke up some sleeping giants. In closing, I feel that, and I say this when I speak a lot, we've been built for this, the 5 of us. We've been molded since our mother's womb, molded and shaped to come out the warriors that we are today. So we're gonna take this on. I'd like to thank everybody that played their part in this. I mean, everybody. Because it takes a village, everybody. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for y'all. I'd like to thank everybody that's not here. The list goes on. I can't name everyone personally, but y'all know who y'all are. Man, the gate of the exonerated. Thank you so much. I love y'all. Blessings to all.